Around 74,000 years ago, on the lush island we now call Sumatra, the earth began to tremble. This is the story of the Toba Catastrophe, a supereruption so immense that it may have brought our species to the edge of extinction. Act 1. The World Before the Ash. Long before cities, before farming, before memory itself, small bands of Homo sapiens moved through Africa and parts of southern Asia. They lived close to the land. At dawn, mist clung to river valleys. Children clutched smooth stones, while their parents shaped hand axes from volcanic rock. Fires crackled at the mouths of shallow caves, smoke carrying the smell of roasted antelope and wild tubers. These were modern humans in mind and body. They laughed, they grieved, they planned hunts and told stories beneath vast, star-heavy skies. Far to the east, beneath the green canopy of northern Sumatra, pressure was building. Deep underground, magma pooled in a chamber stretching more than 100 kilometers across. Above it lay what we now know as Lake Toba, but at the time there was no lake, only a massive volcanic complex, quiet on the surface, apocalyptic below. Then came the turning point. The eruption began not as a single explosion, but as a sequence of titanic blasts. The sound would have been beyond anything a human ear had ever registered, a rolling detonation heard thousands of kilometers away. Ash and pumice were hurled 40 kilometers into the stratosphere. Pyroclastic flows, superheated avalanches of gas and rock, raced outward at highway speeds, incinerating forests and wildlife in seconds. An estimated 2,800 cubic kilometers of material erupted. To put that into perspective, it was thousands of times more powerful than the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens. In Sumatra, nothing near the blast zone survived. Act 2. The Ashen Sky. But the true horror did not end with the explosion. Fine volcanic ash spread across South Asia, settling like gray snow over what is now India and the Arabian Sea. In parts of the Indian subcontinent, ash layers reached several meters thick. Rivers clogged, sunlight dimmed. For hunter-gatherers living hundreds or even thousands of kilometers away, the disaster arrived slowly. The sky changed first. Days grew strangely muted. The sun appeared as a pale disk behind a veil of haze. Then temperatures began to drop. Some climate models suggest global temperatures may have fallen by 3 to 5 degrees Celsius, possibly more in certain regions. A volcanic winter had begun. Imagine a small band of humans on the African savanna. The dry season has come, but this year it bites deeper. The winds are colder. Herds migrate unpredictably. Familiar watering holes shrink or vanish. Plants fail to fruit. Children cry from hunger in the night. Elders, already frail, grow weaker. Hunters range farther and return empty-handed. This is the second turning point. Survival is no longer assumed. Genetic studies of modern humans reveal something startling. Around this period, our species appears to have gone through a severe population bottleneck. Some scientists propose that the global human population may have dropped to just a few thousand breeding individuals, perhaps even fewer. It is debated how directly Toba caused this bottleneck. Archaeological sites in India suggest some human groups may have survived there despite the ashfall. The evidence is still incomplete, and scholars continue to argue the scale of the catastrophe's impact. But what is clear is this: humanity endured a prolonged period of extreme environmental stress. In Africa, small, scattered populations clung to survival along coasts and river corridors. Shellfish, with their dependable tides, may have become a lifeline. Stone tools grew more refined, more efficient, innovation driven by desperation. Every child who survived those years carried the future of the species. Act 3. The Edge of Extinction. Eventually, the ash settled. The aerosols in the atmosphere thinned. Sunlight strengthened. Grasses returned to brittle plains. Animal herds rebounded. And the humans who had survived, hardened, adaptive, bound tightly in small kin groups, began to expand. This is the final turning point, from near erasure to expansion. Within tens of thousands of years, Homo sapiens would move out of Africa in larger waves, spreading across Eurasia, reaching Australia, and eventually crossing into the Americas. Every person alive today descends from those who made it through that narrow genetic corridor. The Toba eruption left behind a scar on Earth still visible today, the vast caldera lake in Sumatra, serene and blue, betraying little of its violent past. Lake Toba now stretches over 100 kilometers long, a tranquil reminder of unimaginable force. Was Toba truly the single event that nearly ended us? Or was it one crisis among many in a harsh, ice age world? Scientists continued to test sediment cores, refine climate models, and study ancient DNA in search of clearer answers. But whether Toba almost erased humanity or merely tested it, the story remains staggering. 74,000 years ago, the sky went dark. And somehow, against ash and cold and hunger, we survived. The next time you see a quiet lake or feel the distant rumble of thunder beneath your feet, remember, our species has already faced the fury of a supervolcano and lived to tell the story.